The Ravens are closer to a Super Bowl than most people think. They've got a quarterback in his prime, a defense that still strikes fear, and a roster built to handle almost anything. But here's the big question. What's missing to finally turn all this potential into a championship? It could be a small detail, a tactical adjustment, or that one piece nobody is paying attention to right now. And that's exactly where the season suspense comes in. Baltimore already has a foundation to get there. But is this the year everything finally clicks? When you look at the Baltimore Ravens, it all starts with Lamar Jackson. The guy just came off a season that could very well be the best of his career. Over 3,600 passing yards, 24 passing touchdowns, and more than 800 rushing yards. And this isn't just numbers on paper. It's impact you can see on the field. Whenever a game seemed stuck, Lamar found a way to break open defenses, whether with a pinpoint throw or a runaway scramble that no one could stop. The most important factor? His age. At 27, Lamar is hitting the stage where quarterbacks usually reach their peak. He's no longer the kid proving every day that he can run a franchise. He's now a seasoned leader with playoff experience, an MVP award under his belt, and most importantly, the maturity to know when to explode and when to control the game. That balance is what makes him so dangerous today. Sure, there's always talk about regression. Every quarterback has highs and lows, and critics will point to moments where Lamar wasn't perfect. But when you look at his track record, consistency has never been the problem. He stayed healthy, durable, and reliable, something many franchises would give anything to have. In a league where half the teams struggle with instability at the most important position, Baltimore has a rare advantage. More than just numbers or raw talent. Lamar is the heartbeat of the Ravens project. The offense has been tailored to maximize his strengths, from the offensive line to the playbook, creating a rhythm you rarely see in the NFL. This isn't a generic system any quarterback could run. It's custom built for him, and the results speak for themselves. A team consistently fighting at the top of the conference. And it's exactly this offense built around Lamar that leads us to the next point. When you have a clear offensive identity, the whole team benefits. The Ravens know exactly who they are with the ball, and that completely changes how they approach every game. The Ravens offense has a trait few teams in the NFL can replicate. It's designed to highlight everything Lamar Jackson does best. Every route, every block by the O-line, even the way the running game is structured exists to give Lamar options. And that's huge, because while many teams are still trying to fit their quarterback into a pre-made system, Baltimore built theirs around him. That adaptability makes them unpredictable. When defenses expect Lamar to run, he finds someone open deep. When they try to shut down the pass, he slips the pressure and gains 15 yards with his legs. The flexibility of this offense keeps Baltimore one step ahead, like a magician always pulling the right trick at the perfect moment. Continuity is also a powerful weapon. This isn't a franchise that changes coordinators or offensive philosophy every year. Everyone knows their role and how to execute it, and that builds confidence. Receivers and tight ends adjust routes on the fly to Lamar's movements. Running backs know how to hit the right gaps. The offensive line has adapted to his unique mobility demands. That kind of synergy doesn't happen overnight. It's built over time and through repetition. When the offense is comfortable and in sync, efficiency follows naturally. Baltimore has a consistency to move the chains and the explosiveness to finish a game in just a few plays. That mix keeps them competitive, even against elite defenses. But championships aren't won on offense alone. On the other side of the ball, Baltimore has built a defense that still intimidates. The Ravens' defense never loses its identity. Physical, aggressive, and capable of changing a game in a single play. Last season, they finished 6th in DVOA, even against a schedule that wasn't exactly brutal. Still, dominating your opponents is proof the system works. Roquan Smith is the engine that keeps it all running. The linebackers become a true general on the field, dictating pace, adjusting formations, and punishing anyone who dares cross the middle. His energy and field awareness elevate teammates, creating a defense rarely out of position. Baltimore found the leader they needed after the era of historic names. Another key factor is constant renewal. Adding talent like rookie Malachi Starks in the secondary brings youth, speed, and playmaking ability. Mixing proven veterans with promising young players creates balance and depth, covering potential weak spots. When the offense already forces opponents to play on the edge, the defense completes the work, applying pressure, forcing mistakes, and creating turnovers. This balance makes the Ravens extremely dangerous. Offense and defense feed off each other, making them nearly impossible to stop. And even with all this talent, the season's path also depends on the schedule. Another reason for confidence. At first glance, Baltimore's schedule may seem average in difficulty, but look closer and there are plenty of winnable games. Just within the AFC North, they could easily pick up 5 or 6 victories, taking advantage of rivals in flux. Outside the division, the outlook isn't intimidating either. Some matchups are against teams rebuilding or unable to match Baltimore's physical and tactical level. These are games where the franchise can stack wins and build momentum for the top of the conference. Smart teams know how to capitalize on these openings. And don't underestimate home field advantage. M&T Bank Stadium isn't just a stadium. It's a fortress. Ravens fans create an environment that rattles opposing quarterbacks and turns any third down into a nightmare. Few NFL venues replicate this kind of pressure, and it consistently results in extra wins. This combination of a manageable schedule, divisional dominance, and home support puts Baltimore in a prime position. It's not just about the opponents. It's about the context that keeps confidence high. But even with a favorable schedule, critics still point to one risk: injuries.
All right, we're already past the halfway point of this video. But before we continue, I noticed you haven't left a like yet. It's really important because it helps YouTube keep showing you my content so I can keep bringing you the best news about the Baltimore Ravens. So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free and it really helps. Thanks. Now let's get back to it.
It's impossible to ignore that Baltimore had an unusually healthy 2024 season, losing just 16.3 adjusted games to injury, the fewest in the league. In a sport as physical and unpredictable as the NFL, repeating that is nearly impossible and skeptics know it. But here's the key: injury luck is only one factor. What separates great teams is the ability to absorb losses without collapsing. On that front, the Ravens are well prepared. The roster has depth at nearly every key position, keeping the team competitive even with some absences. Veterans and young players complement each other, providing stability. If a key player goes down, there's someone ready to step in. Maybe not at the same level, but enough to keep the system running. This isn't luck. It's smart roster building through drafts and free agency. Of course, a string of major injuries, the stars would challenge any team. But Baltimore has shown it doesn't rely on a single piece to function. The collective is strong enough to weather the storm. That's why the pessimism around the team feels overblown. The undercrowd is betting on a collapse that may never come. Those betting against Baltimore often use the same narrative. The Ravens were too lucky with injuries, and it won't happen again. But that view is simplistic, as if the team's success hinges on that alone. The truth: well-built teams can navigate adversity without losing identity. The secret? 3 things: consistent drafting, veteran leadership, and top-tier coaching. Baltimore's front office is one of the league's most respected, identifying talent that fits the system. In the locker room, leaders like Roquan Smith and Lamar Jackson keep the team cohesive. On the sidelines, John Harbaugh is one of the best at adjusting strategy midseason. This trio minimizes the impact of any natural regression. Other teams may fall after a strong year, but Baltimore's foundation is too solid for that to happen. Betting the under ignores decades of cultivated excellence. And it's not blind optimism. The Ravens have the results to back it up. Years of competitiveness, even in tough scenarios, prove it isn't luck. So thinking they'll suddenly collapse is more wishful thinking by rivals than reality. And when it comes to projections, the numbers clearly point to one thing: taking the over is still the smartest play. The 11.5 win line might scare outsiders, but considering the context, the over makes perfect sense. Baltimore won 13 games last season, has a quarterback in his prime, a reliable defense, and a division where at least 3 rivals are still far from elite. This isn't optimism. It's fact-based confidence. Recent history backs this up. In 4 of the last 5 seasons, they've won at least 10 games, and even in rough years, they stayed competitive. This isn't a flash-in-the-pan team. It's a franchise building consistency year after year. Everything lines up: offensive identity, aggressive defense, and a schedule that offers opportunities to pile up wins. Baltimore doesn't need perfection to surpass 11.5 wins, just regularity. At the end of the day, betting against the Ravens means ignoring what they've built. With Lamar in his prime, a defense that commands respect, and an organization that knows how to win, the safe bet is believing they'll once again be among the AFC's elite. In the end, the Ravens have everything a true Super Bowl contender needs: a quarterback at his peak, an offense designed to maximize his talent, a defense that still sets the tone, and a winning culture built over years. Even with questions about injuries or possible regression, Baltimore is a step ahead of most rivals. The foundation is solid, and the confidence this group carries makes it clear. This could be a special season. But the real question is, do you believe the Ravens will finally turn all that potential into a Super Bowl? Because if there's a moment when everything aligns, favorable schedule, deep roster, elite coaching, it's now. There may not be another opportunity this clear. That's why, like it or not, Baltimore enters 2025 with a single mission: to prove they're not just a strong regular season team, but a franchise ready to lift the NFL's most coveted trophy.
And if you, just like me, are passionate about the world of football and want to learn more about the Ravens' legacy, don't leave this video without sharing it with that friend who is also a Baltimore Ravens fan and will love this content. See those video suggestions on your screen? The first one was handpicked just for you, and the other is a recommendation from YouTube itself. See you there, and until the next video, go Flock.